Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ricky V, and today we have another installment of Evolutionary Underground, right? That's what it's called, Underground. Number four. Say hi, Steve.
What's up, guys? It's a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
So,
What do they say when
yeah,
they're doing interviews on TV or on the? They're always like, "It's a pleasure to be with you. Thanks for having me
pleasure to
on."
be here. Thanks for having me. Something like that. So, well, today we're gonna talk about injectable cutting agents, stuff that you can inject that's good for cutting, that's good shit. So I'm going to start off with Winstrol. Winstrol is a great cutting drug. It gives you that cosmetic look, flushes some of that water out, just makes it so much easier to lose that body fat, and really helps you retain mass while you're on it. So the product that I think it's pretty fucking cool if you like injectable stanzolo is one called Rexogen. And Rexogen is made by Alpha Pharma Healthcare. Now, that one comes in actual multi-dose vial, which is about 10 cc's per 50 milligrams per cc, or it comes in 1 milliliter amps that are 50 milligrams per milliliter. The amps are pretty cool. They're pretty convenient. Take just if you need to take just one dose or two doses with you on the go a little bit. Um, Also, the multi-dose vial is also a nice option if you keep your stuff in just one place. But definitely, injectable Winstrol is a really good product for cutting. A lot of guys like the oral Winstrol better. I like the injectable. It's water based, so when you inject it, you actually the water dissipates quite quickly, and you get some crystallization of the hormone there, right in the muscle, and it takes just a bit longer. It's kind of slow release for that muscle to take in that crystalline hormone. You're when you ingest it, your body is basically evolved to take stuff in that you ingest and get it right into the system and excrete whatever it can't use. But actually putting the crystalline hormone in between the muscle cells, your body ain't really kind of evolved to handle it. So I mean, it does dissolve it. It does, and the Winstrol does get into the blood system. But you can take one shot per day. Some guys used to take one shot every other day, and be fine. You don't have to take Winstrol several times a day. So when it comes to injectables, I like Winstrol, and this Rexogen and or this Rexogen product comes in amps and also multi-dose from Alpha Pharma. It just seems like a good option to me. What do you think, Steve?
The next one, it's very similar to Winstrol, but it's not. And I'll tell you the kind of differences is the Alpha Pharma Masteron. So Masteron injectable, you can do the propionate or the enanthate. Now with propionate, that's been historically always the one that's been made by sources over the years by human grade, pharma grade. And then over the past, 10, 15 years, obviously, underground labs have started developing, and some of the high end labs, such as Alpha Pharma, started to come up with Masteron enanthate. So Masteron propionate really gained popularity over the past 20 years in the bodybuilding world because Masteron is a DHT derivative. It's extremely good for hardening the muscle. If you run Masteron by itself, nothing's going to happen except you're going to get some muscle hardening. You'll get a couple, maybe a little difference in your strength, very, very slight. At the end of the day, though, it's got to be used as part of a stack. So you got to stack other things with it. And when it's used in a stack, it does a really good job of binding to SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, which will increase the ratio of free testosterone. So it makes the other steroids that you're using better. And it also is going to harden up your muscles. So it's a must use on a cycle if you're in the bodybuilding world. Now, if you're over 12, 13% body fat, I don't see a purpose in using it personally. I think you have to be below 12, 13% body fat because you want to be able to see the muscles on your frame. In the first place, they can't be covered up by fat because the Masteron is not going to harden up the fat. You know, fat is fat, muscle is muscle. It's going to harden up the muscle. So you obviously want as low body fat as you can. And then you run the Masteron to harden things up. So you get nice vascularity. You'll get nice hardening up. And competitors, you know, ahead of a show, they'll use the propionate because it's very flexible and you can get it into your system quick. But, you know, it's also safe to use a longer ester enanthate if you don't like injections because, you know, you can go wrong with it. It's going to harden you up and it's not something that you have to worry about where you have to be flexible. Oh my God, I have to run the propionate because it's going to do the same thing as the propionate and you don't have to worry about water retention from it, obviously. So, you know, it's a really, really good one. It's a must. If you don't want to cut down, if you're listening to this and, you know, it's coming up to beach season and you got your body fat low as it is, and you're thinking of, well, what am I going to run on my next cycle? Masteron, if you want to cut and you want to shred down, Masteron is a definite. And the nice thing about it, Rick, is the side effects are very, very minimal on Masteron. It's incredible. Even though it's a DHT derivative, it doesn't give you a lot of DHT side effects. So the chemical structure of it just is a great steroid for cutting. But like I said, if you have too much fat on your frame, you're wasting your time taking it. That's my opinion. So you want to probably run at least 300 milligrams a week. Some guys run 500. Some guys even run 1,000 milligrams a week who are at the high levels. What do you got next?
For cutting, another injectable that I've discussed on the podcast before. It's a very interesting product from Dragon Pharma. It's called Helios. Helios from Dragon Pharma contains both clenbuterol hydrochloride and Yohimbe hydrochloride. Now, we did a podcast on Evolutionary Radio called Clenbuterol Can Kill You. I am not a fan of clenbuterol. I don't think anybody should use it. I think if you are at a point where you're having to use something as strong as clenbuterol to lose body fat, you have some core lifestyle issues that you need to deal with. However, if you're a competitor or you are already a lean guy, just have some trouble spots. And trouble spots is the actual key here. Trouble spots, because this product is supposed to work right where you inject it. So if you have that little bit of ring of fat around the belly button that doesn't quite go anywhere, or maybe some of that lower back fat that you just kind of have, it should, in theory, and the product does have some reviews if you search it across the web, Helios from Dragon Pharma, it should really help. You know, it should serve as both a beta stimulating and alpha blocking agent. So it's a pretty darn good combination for fat loss on paper. And it should really it should really help if you use it locally. Look, I make a product called Yohimbe. So Yohimbe is a cream on a roll-on, and it used to spray, and then we went to a pump. Now we have it's cream on a roll-on. This is Yohimbe that you actually can apply on the skin. It's a cosmetic, and there's definitely some good merit to it. You apply it across a large area. But, you know, let's be serious. Helios is an injectable. I wouldn't be able to sell it as a supplement. This other thing is an injectable that guys do use on trouble spots where they want to bring out the definition. And I think for maybe someone coming up to a show already on a caloric deficit and already just kind of grinding it out might actually be a pretty good product to look into. It's pretty cheap. I mean, you're only going to spend $14-12, something like that per vial. It's not a lot. You don't have to use a whole lot either. Just spot injections with insulin pens. There's plenty of information about it online you could check out. And it's another good injectable, Dragon Pharma Helios. What do you have, Steve?
Next, I want to talk about Dragon Pharma Primobolan. So Primobolan is very hard to find because it's faked very, very often. So you need to find a source that has good Primobolan. And all the brands that we're going to talk about today are excellent brands, but Dragon Pharma Primobolan is very affordable, and you can buy a cycle's worth and not break the bank. So it'll cost you about the same cost as it would a car payment, you know, so it's not expensive at all. And the cool thing about Primobolan, I've ran Primobolan before a couple times. And when you're running the Primobolan, you'll notice, you know, you personally may not notice it's even doing anything. It's got extremely low side effects. It is a DHT derivative as well as the compounds, some of the compounds we've already talked about. But again, it doesn't come with the side effects. The side effects with Primobolan are very, very minimal. And it's a very interesting steroid because when you're on it, it doesn't feel like you're on it. So if you run it for 12 weeks at, say, 500 milligrams a week, which is a good dose to run it as a man, you're not going to notice, hey, I'm on steroids. You're not going to go to a gym and feel a lot of strength. It's not going to give you the strength. It's not going to give you the size. But what will happen is over the course of 12 weeks, if you haven't seen anybody in 12 weeks and, you know, they see you at at the beach or something, they're going to look at you and be like, wow, it looks like you lost weight. And even though when you weigh yourself, you've actually gained 2, 3, 4 pounds over the course of 12 weeks on the Primobolan, it'll still look like you lost weight. Primobolan, what it does, it doesn't add any water retention to your frame. It's really a cool steroid that will increase the definition of your muscles. So your muscles will get the protein synthesis increase without water basically filling up your muscles. So you won't get that fluffy look to your muscles. You'll get a lean look to your muscles. So a lot of guys hate Primobolan because they're like, why am I spending all this money on something that's only going to add 2, 3, 4 pounds to my frame over the course of 12 weeks? But the thing is, they don't think about is that those 2, 3 pounds that you're putting on are actual good quality lean muscle mass. And you're going to look like you lost weight on the cycle. So if you do everything properly, you're working out, you're eating good on this cycle, that's what's going to happen after 12 weeks. So, you know, that's what you can look forward to on Primobolan, and you're not going to feel like you're on anything. You're not going to lose your head hair. Your cholesterol isn't going to go crazy. Your prostate's not going to blow up. Your heart health isn't going to go to shit. So it's a really cool steroid to use. And, you know, you get some really, really nice results from Primobolan if, you know, that's within your budget. So, you know, give it a shot and let us know what you think.
All right. So the next one I'm going to talk about is an injectable, and it's great for cutting. It's just human growth hormone. Just good old 191 human growth hormone. It's just great for cutting. Now, I've said on the podcast many times, if you're going to get human growth hormone, get the legitimate human grade stuff if you can. If you can get it prescribed through a THT clinic, or you can get it through back channels, as long as you get the legit something crazy like Pfizer, I mean, you're in a good road. But if you're going to shop underground, if you don't have access or the money to get legitimate human grade US compounding pharmacy made stuff, your next best bet is to go with a known brand that's already known to provide good quality anabolic steroids. And if they have a name and they are working and striving to continue to have a good name in the industry, in this underground industry, most likely than not, they're going to take good care to really source and store and ship properly good human growth hormone. So the product that I find really interesting, and I haven't used it myself, but I've seen some good reviews and about it online, is Dragontropin. Dragontropin by Dragon Pharma. You know, one kit, which is about 10 vials, can run you around $300. So 10 vials, about 100 IUs. I mean, you've got a decent amount of human growth hormone. And like I said, guys, this is if you're shopping underground, right? You're already on the road to buying some underground human growth hormone. Just get the best stuff you can get. Get the best brand that you can find that it's well known in the industry. Ideally, you'd want to just get human grade, man. Get that prescription TRT clinic and do it. Now, one good way to know if your human growth hormone is legit is take a test, that test for human growth hormone blood test before you start using it. You grab whatever it is. If you can get Pfizer or get some Dragontropin, whatever is up to your budget and your ability to grab stuff. And while you're using it, make sure to go get another blood test. Make sure you take a shot before you go for your blood test. And you should see the increase in your human growth hormone levels at the same time of the day. Hopefully you're taking the blood test at the same time of the day while you're on human growth hormone. And that's probably one of, if not the best way to know if you got legitimate human growth hormone or if you got scammed. Now, there are ways to just get your own blood work drawn. I think Stevesmi's got a good hookup for you, good plug. If you need to get blood work, you might want to make sure to hit him up, contact him on the forums. But yeah, I mean, human growth hormone for fat loss is incredible. It works through a different pathway than the steroids maybe do to help some in burning fat. It works in a different pathway than SARMs do to help you burn fat. It works in a different pathway than Helios, which I just mentioned, does. There are a lot of different pathways that your body uses for moving calories around and creating tissue and synthesizing proteins and things like that. And human growth hormone is a good one to use if you're trying to get lean, trying to get tight. So make sure you get legit stuff, because human growth hormone is expensive. It's faked quite a bit, a lot. And once you find a good supply of it, man, make sure to go get that blood test and have a baseline to compare it to. Have a baseline blood test without injecting anything. Then blood test again after you inject it. And that way, if you got good, legit stuff. And if you got good, legit stuff, everything in that batch with that batch number should be also legit. So it's just a good injectable for cutting. What do you got?
Geneza Pharma is another excellent brand, and it's one of my favorites for sure. And one of the steroids that is one of my favorites is Trenbolone. And Trenbolone is the king of all steroids. If you've never used Trenbolone before, you have to use it at some point. You have to. It's going to do a lot of things for you. It's going to increase your strength. It's going to increase your aggression. It's going to increase even libido in a lot of guys. It's very androgenic. It's also very anabolic in the body. And a lot of people who use it, they report that they cut down on it, even when they eat poorly on it. So I never recommend eating poorly, guys. Bad food that's unhealthy goes in your body. It does a lot of things. Even if you're a lean guy and you can get away with eating crap, you shouldn't eat crap, because there's other things that are going on in your body. If you eat crap, you're feeding your cancer cells, for example. If you eat crap, you're messing around with your insulin sensitivity. If you eat crap, you're messing around with your gut health. So even on Trenbolone, though, guys eat crap and they trim up. But not everybody is going to get lean on Tren. So this one is a kind of asterisk in my view, because some guys run Trenbolone and they blow up 10, 15 pounds and they get a bunch of size, they get a bunch of strength. But other guys will run Trenbolone and they'll just shred up on it, even on a bad diet. So it really depends on the individual. But if you're one of the people who are able to shred up on Tren, it will change your physique. There's guys that I've seen over the years on the forums, and you go to their social media. I know you know what I'm talking about. You go to their social media and you look at their pictures, and it's like, I'm like, wow, this guy doesn't even look like he lifts. But then you'll have a picture from like 5 or 10 or 15 years ago when he ran Tren, and he looks like a freaking Mr. Olympia. And it's like, what the hell happened here? Why? What happened? Well, it's because he ran Tren. Tren basically gave him the best physique he ever got in his life. And he's never, ever, since then, been able to achieve that. So he'll just keep the same fucking picture, on his main social media or whatever. But he doesn't really look like that anymore. So Tren is capable of basically turning an average physique into wow, and at the bodybuilding level, from regional to all the way up to Mr. Olympia once a year in Vegas, guys are utilizing Trenbolone. It is a necessity to utilize Trenbolone, and it is a tremendous steroid that you should try eventually, at least once in your life. You should mess around with Tren because it is that good. So it is definitely belong in this cutting podcast for sure, because it is that incredible.
Yeah, so those are some good cutting compounds that you all should take a look at and look into for your own needs. Guys, we are in the year 2021 as we record this. I think it's about time everybody have a Bitcoin wallet or 2 or 3. Just make sure that you learn how to use Bitcoin properly. And nowadays, for shopping, for safety, for a lot of different reasons, Bitcoin is something we should all be looking into and using. And no matter where you are buying your supplies, being well versed in using Bitcoin, it's going to definitely go a long way in helping you pay for your supplies. Usually, where you go, nowadays, you can definitely buy a lot of things with Bitcoin. Shit, used to be able to buy a Tesla with Bitcoin back in the day, right? Is he back to taking Bitcoin for Teslas? I don't know, but definitely Bitcoin is a good idea to make sure to look into. If you are, if you're looking to pay for your shit, man, it's just the best way, because you definitely want to stay away from places that will take your credit card when it comes to this lifestyle and some of the underground ways of getting around stuff. You want to be real careful with that. Also be real careful with walking into places and filling out forms to actually send funds. That all that stuff, it's like 1990s. Okay, to walk into a Western Union and be wired. I mean, definitely don't keep your stuff out of your banking, your privacy. This lifestyle, people maybe suspect you because you got the muscles, but a lot of you guys want to keep it a secret from a lot of people. So definitely your privacy is number one, and Bitcoin goes a long way in that regard, in helping you keep some privacy as to what some of the stuff that you're up to, and they'll just make it a lot easier for you all the way. So definitely, if you take another good piece of advice from this podcast, is Bitcoin that shit up. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that'll explain everything you want to know about Bitcoin, from how it works to how to use it. If you don't care about how it works, you just want to know how to use it, how to put some of the money you have in your pocket now into a Bitcoin wallet, and then use that Bitcoin wallet to maybe pay for goods and services. Make sure to go through YouTube and check it out. So just a good, important piece of advice for everyone out there. All the brothers.
There is a sticky over on evolutionary.org in the main section that I kind of explain how to use Bitcoin, guys. And Bitcoin is it's a cryptocurrency. So basically, you're taking, if you're in America, you're taking your US dollars and you're swapping them out. Just like when you travel to a foreign country, you get there, you go up to the lady at the counter or the gentleman at the counter at the airport, and you swap out for the currency of that particular country. Although most countries accept US dollars, obviously. But if you are going to a country that doesn't accept US dollars, that's what you have to do. You have to basically, and if you buy something and they give you change, they'll always give you change in their country's currency. They won't give you change usually in American dollars because they want to keep the American dollar. So it's a little confusing, but especially if you're an American, because our currency is so fucking stable. Like the US dollar in the past 5 or 10 years is literally within 1 or 2% of value. So, but Bitcoin will fluctuate, 5-8% sometimes in one day. I mean, there was a couple weeks ago, it like tanked like 11% in a matter of hours. So you want to make sure when you put your money in the Bitcoin, you do the currency exchange from US dollars to Bitcoin. You want to put a little more than you think you'll need, because you want, in case the value changes from the time that you do the currency exchange to the time that you pay. So always go like 10% more. So if you're going to buy $1,000 worth of steroids online, go ahead and put 1,100 in your account, and whatever is remaining, then after you pay the person, then you can just save it there and then use it for your next cycle and so on. So that's the best way to do it. So I always recommend put about 10% more than you expect to use, because it does fluctuate quite a bit. But like I said, guys, go on the forum. I explain as simple as I can in the sticky. And that's the best way to do it these days. Some sources also take cash by mail, but that's risk. That's a risk, because you send the cash by mail, the postman, it's going to touch a bunch of hands. Anyone can steal it. It could get delivered to the wrong place. A lot of things can go wrong with that. But with the Bitcoin, you transfer the Bitcoin, it's recorded, and you can go back and see that it was sent and what time it was sent, and there's a number that you can confirm with the source. So there's no shenanigans between the both of you in that situation. And then on a source's side, they like it because, let's say I send them cash, and I send them the wrong amount, and they claim, they get it and they're like, hey, I got the wrong amount. And then the person buying the steroids is like, no, I sent you $1,000. Why are you saying I only sent you 900? And then the source is like, no, the source is not lying. They really got 900. Maybe you counted wrong. Something could have happened. But with Bitcoin, it's all right there. So there's none of these shenanigans. There's none of these misunderstandings that can happen. So it really is the best way to do it for sure.
Great episode today, Steve. Another installment of Evolutionary Underground in the books. For this type of underground podcast, we'll see you guys again in a month. And the next couple of days, check out the next episode of Evolutionary Radio. Myself and Steve again. So have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys. You're not going to say goodbye to the people, Steve?
All right. Goodbye, people.
There you go. Manners, man. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, guys. So this is the required legal disclaimer. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. You first should check with your doctor before doing any kind of drugs, supplements, training, working out, any of that stuff. Check with your doctor. We're just providing this information for entertainment purposes. We also don't condone the sale of illegal substances. So check your local laws in your country, in your city, in your town, and see what you can and can't buy. Whatever you do, don't blame us. This is just for entertainment purposes. And that's it.